questions देखते हैं. Few questions regarding integration by parts. So in this question, we are supposed to integrate this y dx. I have provided you with y so that you are not confused कि y क्या है. Part 1 was concerned with y. So y was x to the power minus 2 over 3 ln x, and now we are supposed to integrate this entire thing. So 8 1 y की जगह x to the power negative 2 upon 3 ln x, and now you have to prove this entire thing is 18 ln 2 minus 9. Okay, how do we begin integrating by parts? Let me write this form. This will be provided. परेशान होने की जरूरत नहीं है. No need to worry. Okay. Yes. So what should be taken as u? That is what we must think. क्या लेंगे u? ln x. Why? Because we are following the sequence ILATE. And there is no inverse trigonometric in this one. Log है, तो log must be taken as u. U is ln x. And what will be your v dash? Now be very careful with this. What will be your v dash? X to the power minus 2 upon 3. How do you get u dash? U से u dash कैसे आता है? U से u dash? Differentiate. So what is the derivative of ln x? 1 over x. And how do you get v from v dash? V dash is what you already have, and you need v dash is what you have. You need to find v. देखो. Yes, I told you when you have u differentiated, you get u dash. When you have v, you differentiated, you get v dash. So अगर v dash से you need to find v, what will you do? Integrate. How do we integrate this? क्या आएगा इसका integral? Anyone? सोच समझ के जवाब देना. What do you do to integrate? चलो मैं बच्चों की तरह कराता हूँ. Yes, increase the power by 1 because it's an algebraic, and then divide by the increased power. So what is the increased power? Increase the power by 1. You add 1.
1 upon 3.
1 upon 3. So your power is 1 upon 3.
Divide by 1 upon.
Yes, and when you divide by 1 upon 3, what do you get? This is your integral. Is this clear now? Understood? So remember, it's my integration. You are not done with integration. You have just broken it into parts. Okay, first I will break the integral in this form, and then I will integrate. So you already have your u and your v. क्या करें आप बताओ? Remember, this is what we are breaking it into, right? This is what we have. Okay, so I'll just use a long brackets rather than, because the limits need to be applied to everything in the end. So instead of putting limits on the integral sign, you can use a long bracket ताकि जो already u v है इस पे भी you can apply your limits. This clear? Because इस पे भी limit रहेंगी. So what is your u? ln x. What is your v? dx to the power 1 upon 3 minus, remember the expression inside the integral sign still needs to be integrated. What is your v?
V to power 1 upon 3.
And what is your u dash? Upper limit is
8.
lower limit is 1. We are not done. I am telling you again and again, integration by parts. You're just breaking it into parts. There's still some things that needs to be integrated. What still needs to be integrated? 3x 1 over 3 into 1 upon x. All of this still has to be integrated. So first simplify this before integrating. बताओ क्या बनेगा simplify होके? What do you get? What is the power of x that you end up at? साइन सही बता रहे हो? Is it 2 over 3? ऊपर it is 1 over 3 and it is being divided by x. So 1 over 3 minus 2 upon 3. ऊपर x power 1 over 3, नीचे x is a power 1. 1 over 3 minus 1 is, do it in your calculators if you're confused, but please do not make that. Remember, you're still not done with integration. There's still something that needs to be integrated. क्या आएगा इसका इंटीग्रल? Do it, बताओ, बिल्कुल करो. I'm writing it in a different way now. Yes. When you integrate it, so tell me what is the final answer that you end up getting? 9x. Please let me know if you are unable to understand a single step of this working. It's very easy to understand. समझ के करो, break कर करके करो. So once you decide to plug in the values, थोड़ा सा smartly काम कर लोगे. Remember this, power 1 over 3 means cube root, right? And if you have any confusions, you can always use your calculators. 3, 8 का cube root is 1 upon 8 to the power 1 over 3 is 2, ln 8 minus 9 into 8 to the power 1 upon 3. This is your upper limit, minus lower limit is 3 ln 1 minus 9. Now ln 1 is 0. And what am I left with? 3 and into cube root of 8 is 2. 3 2s are 6. ln 8 minus 9 2s are 18 plus 9. Is that right? So what am I left with? 6 ln 8 minus 9. Now the difference is I have ln 8 and the question wants ln 2. How can I convert this 8 into 2? I can write 2 cube and 3 multiplied by 6 is 18 ln 2 minus 9. Make sense? Understood? Like I tell you, K2 mein bar bar the earlier topics will come to haunt you if you haven't practiced well enough. You can clearly see that happening in every other question now. The direct answers can be found without doing a single step by putting the entire thing in the calculator. I can just put this in the calculator and I'll get my answer. So what's the point of doing all of this? इसलिए वो exact मांगता है so that you know what you are up to. Is this clear? Let's do another question जिसमें there is substitution and then it is followed by integration by parts as well. So the first part is just substituting. So we'll recall what we have just studied in the previous class. इसके साथ ये भी करेंगे. So what do we need to substitute? Very good. X की जगह we will substitute t square plus 1. And okay, so this is what we are starting with. These limits are values of t. X in place of t square plus 1. Here I will substitute x. Okay, this is what I'm done with this. But what about this? I still need to substitute this dt. I still need to take care of this t cube, and I will do that. Don't worry. How will I substitute dt? क्या आएगा? dx by dt, and what will that be? dx by dt. 2t. That's it. The derivative of 1 will be 0. So you need to substitute dt, right? That will be 1 upon 2t dx. Can I do that? एक एक करके करके दिखा रहा हूँ, don't worry. So in place of dt, I can substitute this entire thing. So this t and this t cancelled out. This 2 and this 2 cancelled out. What am I left with? Can anyone tell me the simplified form? A t and t cancelled out. 2t square. Now I still need to get rid of this t square and the limits 2 because these are values of t. I do not need t. How do I get rid of this t square? Very good, very good. I manipulate this. This plus 1 goes on that side. And in place of t square, what can I write? X minus. And what about the values now? These values are 2 and 0. ये किसकी values हैं? T. And we need to find these values in place of x. तो यहाँ पे 2 रखूं तो what is the upper limit? क्या आएगी? What is the upper limit for x?
5.
5. And the lower limit? 1. Now I just need to simplify it as per the question's demand, which is I must multiply this bracket of 2 and I'll end up getting 2x minus 2. And remember what is happening? Two functions are being multiplied in this case and I still need to integrate. Is that right? So two functions are still being multiplied and I still need to integrate. The question will not always tell you when to use integration by parts. Sometimes it does by using integration by parts, etc. But not always. Okay, so how will we go about integrating this? Very good. We'll be using integration by parts. I'll just copy this entire equation in front of you so that you have a visual representation. Again, selecting U, ILATE. So इसमें से कौन सा वाला? ln x log will be chosen as U. So your U is ln x. And the other is not V. What is it? V dash. Sign देख रहे हो? So V dash is 2x minus 2. Now be very careful. What is your U dash? What is the derivative of ln x? 1 over x. And what is your V? How do you get V from V dash? V from V dash. Integrate. So what is the integral of 2x minus 2?
X square minus
2x square upon 2 minus 2x. तो 2 and 2 cancelled हो गया तो x square minus 2x. हम पूरे 2 को कॉमन भी ले सकते थे. So what is? Remember we are integrating this entire thing. ठीक है ना? So when I break it, मैंने बताया limits है तो use long brackets instead. Your u is ln x. Your v is, let me simplify your v for you. X square minus 2x. Square minus 2x minus. And what is your v dash? Sorry, v and u dash. X square minus 2x and your u dash is, and the upper limit is 5 and the lower limit is 1. So when you're concerned with definite integrals, I urge you to please use these long brackets. वरना a common error is बच्चे इस पे तो limits लगा लेते हैं, but they forget that the limits needs to be applied on these u and v as well. You have just broken it into different parts. One part is already integrated. You need to integrate the other parts. इसलिए कहते हैं integration by parts. Is this clear? So what is the integral? I'll write it just in a different way. Minus 2x ln x. Yes. What is left inside the integral sign now? X minus 2. Remember, this x minus 2 still needs to be integrated. So what do you get when you integrate this x minus 2? X square upon 2, और ये minus 2x बाहर वाले x minus, this will be plus 2x. So be clear about the signs, be clear about the part that needs to be integrated. Do not just rush into things. Do one thing at a time. Now you can simply plug in the values. पहले when you plug in 5, what do you get? लिख लो पहले, make sure you write it down before you put it in your calculator. 5 square is 25 minus 10, 15 ln 5 minus 25 upon 2 plus 10. Is that right? Minus 1 अगर कर देंगे तो 1 square minus 2 is negative 1 ln 1, which will be 0, minus 1 upon 2 plus 2. The question is asking for exact form, so keep logs as it is. 15 ln 5. What is this? 20 and 5. So this is minus 5 upon 2 minus 3 upon 2. Please make sure you're using your calculator. I'm just trying to do this mentally. Minus 4. Make sure you get your correct answers by using the calculator. I've done this mentally, so do not trust the final values that I've got. Rather do it on your own and tell me what do you get. The diagram shows the curve y is equals to 1 plus x square e to the power minus half x. For x is greater than equal to 0, that's the domain, page 229 of the file. Ka. The shaded region R is enclosed by the curve, the x-axis and the lines. X is 0 and x is 2. Show that the exact value of R is this. How would I find the value of R? सबसे पहले तो ये बता, how do we find the area under a curve? How do we find the area between, not just under the curve, between the curve and the x-axis? Limits तो डालते हैं किसमें? Where do we put the limits? What do we integrate? All of this is important. Integrate. We integrate the equation of the curve. Yes, that's right. तो हाँ सर, हमें तो पता था, but please इसको जरा समझ लो. When we need to find the area between the curve and the x-axis, what do? We integrate the equation of the curve. So just write, पहले सबसे basic लिखो. How will you find the area? You will say, sir, we'll find the area if we integrate y with respect to x. The upper limit will be 2, the lower limit will be 0, and we already know what y is. So let me just plug that in. Is this clear? यहाँ तक clear है? When we integrate the equation of the curve with respect to x and apply the limits of x, we get the area between the curve and the x-axis. All of this is already covered in ASA2. Maybe we have been doing it from the very first day when we started integration. Now we are just applying it to the very last subtopic of integration. यहाँ तक clear है? Now the issue arises, how do we integrate this part? Yes, what made you decide by parts? Very good. There are two functions that are multiplying and it still needs to be integrated. Is that right? ओके सो व्हाट इज योर यू? बहुत आराम सुकून से इसमें काम करना है, बोलो। ILATE. You'll make it very difficult for yourself. We'll spend 10 and 15 and 20 minutes on this, and then you'll think, oh, मैं तो गलत चल के चला गया. Why? Because you did not keep this into concern कि what has to be you. ILATE के हिसाब से what has to be you? 1 plus x square algebraic. It's an algebraic expression, so 1 plus x square. And what about v dash? Now what is u dash? लिखते जाओ साथ साथ. Trust me, all of this will get very messy if you are not writing in the right time. क्या होगा? What is u dash? What is u dash? 2x. What is v? Don't worry, don't panic. What you have, the blunders that you are making are very common. When I was your age, मैंने भी ये गलतियां की थी भाई. What helped me? I stayed calm, sukoon se, calm. Composure is what is required. You know how to differentiate, you know how to integrate, you only need to be careful. So you know, likho clearly so that you understand what you're doing. What about v? E to the power minus 1 upon 2x, and the entire thing will be divided by minus half. Is this clear? So what do you end up getting as v? Let me simplify this and tell you. Minus 2e to the power minus half x. So now how do I get my area? Use your calculators. Please do not be in a hurry. If anything is confusing you, do your calculator. You do use your calculator smartly. अच्छा, तो क्या होगा ये मेरे पास? What is u? 1 plus x square. And what is v? Minus 2e to the power half x. Minus integral of v is again minus 2e to the power minus half x. And u dash is 2x. The upper limit is 2 and the lower limit is 1. Is this clear? If you are not prompt on simplifying, the integration by parts formula is provided. Don't worry about that. यहाँ तक clear है? Now what? Remember, the part inside the integral sign still needs to be integrated. What to do? How to simplify? If you are not good at simplification, this is your time. Get it right. Now what? Now how do I integrate this? We'll have to apply by parts again. इसलिए इसको by parts कहते हैं. We do not say integration in two parts. The name is integration by parts. You'll have to keep on breaking the integral again and again and again. Clear hai? Now what will be your u? U is x. And what is your v dash? बाकी चीज you'll have to write it as it is. U is x and v dash is e to the power minus half x. Your u dash is 1 and your v is minus 2e to the power let me just simplify this bit. 2e to the power minus half x, 1 plus x square. And this is the part that you have integrated. So this, remember, something still has to be integrated. So zara iska khayal rakhna. I'm using a bracket. I'll use a curly brackets to help You understand? U into V minus integral of V U dash minus 2e to the power. Kindly understand that this entire thing that I've put in a curly bracket is what you have done. And you can simplify it separately and then multiply it with the entire integral, but be clear about it. Abhi, all of this part, the one inside the integral sign, still has to be integrated. इसको integrate अभी करना है. Be clear about it. क्या होगा बताओ simplify होके? Now if I start simplifying, what will be the integral of this? Suppose I can just take minus 2 common बाहर वो plus 2 हो जाएगा. Now what is the integral of this? इतनी दफा integrate कर रहे हैं. Minus 2e to the power minus half x. Simplify, multiply with 4. एक साथ if you take all this common, समझ अभी आ जाएगा. Let's multiply. So what do I get? Minus 8x e to the power minus half x. Minus 4 plus 4 is minus 16 e to the power minus half x. Now you have so many e to the power minus half x, so it's better if you take e to the power minus half x separately, तो बाकी सारा काम आसान हो जाता है. Remember the limits still need to be applied on the entire integral. जाननी छोटी है इससे हमारी. So 2e ले लेते हैं minus half x common. I'm left with 1 plus x square minus 4x minus 8. Upper limit 2, lower limit 1. See, bar calculator plugging and everything will become very easy for you. इसको और further simplify कर सकते हैं. And I'll end up getting 8 plus 1 is 7. Now just plug in the upper limit. 2 डाल देंगे तो 2 upon e or 2e to the power minus 1. 4 minus 4 and then minus 7 हो गया मेरे पास. Minus lower limit is 1. इसमें अगर मैंने 1 डाल दिया तो 2e to the power minus, sorry, lower limit was 0. I have been putting it wrong. It was 0. Correct it. पीछे भी correct कर लेना. If I put in 0, so 2e to the power 0 is it's just 2 0 0. Then minus 7, so minus 14. 14 minus 7 upon 2e. Is this what we had to come up with? 18 minus 42. वैल्यू की गड़बड़ की है. चेक करो. 16. 4 minus, हाँ, 2 का square is 4. 4 minus 8. 4 minus 8 is minus 4 minus 7 is यही आया. minus 22 क्यों जा रहा है? वैल्यू की गड़बड़ हुई है हमारे पास. The limits are fine. 2 and 0 are the limits. Value की गड़बड़. सलाम. ये -2 की गड़बड़ हुई है हमारी. -2 को आगे जाते आते मैं just left it as a +2 if this is -2. फिर आंसर मेरा सही आ जाएगा. I have just made a very small error. -2 नहीं लिया था. बाकी चेक करो. आंसर will be correct. Is this clear now?